Charles Bukowski, the poet of the average Joe. His life was a broken and off-key ballad for the underbelly of society, a bum, a postal worker, an alcoholic, a gambler. Bukowski was the unrepentant, raw voice of the streets. He was not just a character. He was a full-blown, unbridled force, a storm of authenticity in a world draped in pretense while drowning in force-fed lies. His work wasn't just words on a page. It was a living, breathing testament to the unfiltered truth of life as he saw it, felt it, bled it. Welcome to another episode of Plaid Chronicles. There was more than just humor and entertainment in his poetry. There was a raw, pulsating heart beating with a message we all need to hear, especially now. Bukowski's philosophy, often distilled into the phrase, "don't try," was more nuanced than it appeared, more powerful than initially interpreted, more than two words on a page. It was a call to arms, an invitation to fight the greatest fight there is, the fight to be real. In the rough and tumble world of 20th century literature, Charles Bukowski bulldozed his way through with a gritty, unapologetic force, turning life's brutal punches into knockout prose. Born in 1920 in Germany, Bukowski's story was no enchanted tale. It was a raw, unfiltered journey from the somber streets of a tumultuous childhood, marked by a father's harsh discipline and the jeers of peers over his accent and dress. His life was a canvas of gray, painted with the bleakness of adversity, a backdrop that unexpectedly set the stage for his future literary rebellion. As a teenager, Bukowski's struggles deepened. His face, besieged by acne, became a visible marker of his outcast status. Yet, in a twist of fate, these very battles ignited the fire of his creative genius. Picture a superhero origin story, not born of cosmic accidents or mystical powers, but forged in the furnace of relentless life challenges. Emerging from a decade lost in addiction's shadowy embrace, Charles Bukowski wandered back into the heart of Los Angeles, a city that mirrored his own battered soul. His life had been a relentless battle against demons both within and without. The suffocating grip of poverty, the stinging bite of homelessness, and the ceaseless war with his inner vices. Despite being warned of potentially dying early from drugs and drinking, he continued his vices. These streets, throbbing with a raw, unyielding reality, were both his battlefield and sanctuary. Bukowski's pen, now mightier than ever, tore through the fabric of societal facades, unveiling the stark truths that many dared not face. His perspective, though marred by a deep-seated cynicism, flickered with rare glimpses of hope, tiny yet defiant sparks in a vast dark void. But the world, relentless and unforgiving, seemed hell-bent on crushing the spirit of every wandering soul, including Bukowski's. Each line he wrote was a testament to his struggle, a raw reflection of a life lived on the fringes, constantly wrestling with the shadows that sought to engulf him. Bukowski didn't sugarcoat his lemons. He fermented them into a potent brew of words, spilling onto pages with the acidity and truth of his experiences. His writing wasn't just a form of expression, it was an act of survival, a way to claw through the darkness of his early years. The rawness of his poetry and prose, dripping with the unvarnished truth of his life, resonated with a generation. Bukowski's words were a siren song for the disenchanted, a rallying cry for those wearied by the glossy veneer of societal norms. In his roaring 20s, Bukowski, in a stroke of spontaneous destiny, decided to become a writer.
The further away I am from the human race, the better I feel.
People do too much, they say too much. Just sleep all day long and forget the day.
He meandered across the American landscape, taking on odd jobs while his typewriter clattered with stories that mostly remained cloaked in obscurity. It seemed as though fate, in its capricious whimsy, was playing a prolonged game of hard to get with our aspirant author. Bukowski wandered through the deserts of the American literary scene for years, his words echoing unheard in the void. It wasn't until a near brush with death in 1955, at the ripe age of 35, that Bukowski was jolted back into the arms of his true love writing. It was as if the universe itself had whispered, "Rise, you stubborn artisan of words, and embrace your calling." Back to the post office he went, but this time the mundane sorting of letters was interspersed with the creation of his own literary symphonies. These pre-dawn writing sessions were his secret rebellion, a quiet insurgency against a world that had yet to recognize the gem in its midst. Time marched on, and it was not until his 50s that Bukowski's ship of fortune finally sailed in. A daring publisher took a chance on him, and the man who had once been a mere whisper in the literary world roared into prominence. This ascension was not the swift flight of an overnight success story, but the gradual climb of a man who had battled through decades of rejection and obscurity. The epitaph on Bukowski's gravestone, "Don't Try," might initially strike one as a cruel irony for a man whose existence was a testament to perseverance. Yet it unravels the enigmatic tapestry of Bukowski's inner philosophy. In a letter to his friend and fellow writer William Packard, Bukowski peeled back the layers of this creed. He contended that the essence of writing, or any creative pursuit, was not about a conscious choice, but about a compelling, inescapable calling. When you are chosen by your craft, it intertwines with your being as vital as the air you breathe. This whimsical doctrine, "Don't Try," is not an ode to idleness, but rather a rallying cry for authenticity. It's a poetic rejection of the notion of forcing oneself into an ill-fitting mold. Bukowski didn't try to be a writer. He embodied the essence of one. His prose was not a product of calculated effort, but an organic outpouring of his very soul, undiluted and raw.
And that's what attracts them. The moment they meet me, they try to change me into them, which is not evil, interesting, or anything at all. So I resent that, and I revolt to it, and then we get an unhappiness.
What lessons then can we glean from Bukowski's storied life? Perhaps it's the understanding that the journey to our authentic selves need not be a grueling uphill battle against our nature. It might just be about recognizing and embracing the innate passions that simmer within us. In the gritty tapestry of Charles Bukowski's words, we find an unfiltered honesty that slices through the facade of societal norms. His aphorisms aren't just musings. They are a battle cry for a life lived authentically, passionately, and without restraint. Let's delve into the essence of his most striking quotes, each a raw nugget of wisdom in the pursuit of genuine existence. If it doesn't come bursting out of you in spite of everything, don't do it. Bukowski here advocates for a life driven by unstoppable passion. It's not about the half-hearted attempts or the lukewarm pursuits. If something doesn't consume you with its necessity, if it doesn't keep you awake at night and pull at your very being, then, Bukowski argues, it's not worth pursuing. This quote isn't just advice, it's a litmus test for authenticity. It speaks to the kind of passion that is not just a choice, but a compulsion, an unstoppable force that drives you regardless of obstacles. Find what you love and let it kill you.
Loneliness in this world so great that you can see it in the slow movement of the hands of a clock. People so tired, mutilated, either by love or no love.
In this raw declaration, Bukowski isn't promoting self-destruction, but rather an all-consuming devotion. To let what you love kill you is to immerse yourself so deeply in your passion that it defines your existence. It's a love affair with your craft, a dedication so profound that everything else pales in comparison. This isn't just living, it's being alive in the most intense way possible. My dear, find what you love and let it drain you of your all. This extension of the previous quote emphasizes surrender to passion. Bukowski here speaks of a love that drains you, suggesting a complete and utter dedication to what sets your soul on fire. It's not just about finding your passion, it's about giving it everything you have, letting it consume every fiber of your being until you are spent in the pursuit of what you love. You have to die a few times before you can really live. Bukowski touches on the theme of rebirth through adversity. The deaths here are the trials, the failures, the heartaches that one endures. Bukowski suggests that these experiences are essential to truly understand and appreciate life. Each death is a shedding of naivety, leading to a more profound, more authentic existence. Slavery was never abolished, it was only extended to include all the colors. While primarily a commentary on societal ills, this quote also subtly speaks to the shackles of societal expectations. Bukowski points out that true freedom is elusive, bound by the invisible chains of norms and conventions. His philosophy of "don't try" is a rebellion against these constraints, urging us to break free and live according to our true nature. If you're going to try, go all the way, otherwise don't even start. This is the essence of Bukowski's all-or-nothing attitude. There's no room for half measures in his world. To try is to commit utterly and completely. It's a call to plunge headfirst into your pursuits, to embrace your passions without reservation or hesitation. It's a mantra for the fearless, for those who dare to live wholly and unabashedly. The free soul is rare, but you know it when you see it. In this reflection, Bukowski recognizes the rarity of true freedom. A free soul, unencumbered by pretense or the weight of societal expectations, radiates an unmistakable energy. This quote is a nod to the effortless authenticity that comes from being true to oneself, from living in a way that is intrinsically aligned with one's inner being. Bukowski's poignant observations in his poem The Crunch resonate more than ever in today's digital age, where the veneer of social media often masks the underlying human disconnection. He wrote, "The rich are not good to the rich, the poor are not good to the poor," a line that captures the universality of human indifference, transcending social and economic divides. It's a stark reminder of the prevailing lack of empathy and kindness, where online platforms have become battlegrounds, echoing his words, "More haters than lovers." In the current landscape of virtual interactions, where online conflicts and social media vitriol have become commonplace, Bukowski's words ring with prophetic clarity. He observed, "People are not good to each other." A simple yet profound statement that captures the essence of our modern-day struggles with empathy and understanding. His insight into human nature, that perhaps if we were kinder to each other, our deaths and our lives would be less tinged with sadness, challenges us to reflect on how we treat one another, both in person and in the digital realm. In the pantheon of cultural icons who embody the raw, unfiltered essence of living, several figures stand out, their lives and works mirroring the principles championed by Charles Bukowski in a strikingly resonant manner. Hunter S. Thompson, with his gonzo journalism and a life notoriously lived on the edge, encapsulates a spirit akin to Bukowski's. Thompson's philosophy, captured in his invigorating directive to buy the ticket, take the ride, echoes Bukowski's full throttle embrace of life's experiences, unbridled and unvarnished. Like Bukowski, Thompson never shied away from plunging into the depths of the human experience, revealing its gritty underbelly with a candidness that is both startling and invigorating.
To write well enough to pay the rent and have something to drink. I never really expected this kind of luck. I didn't expect it. I felt I could write good compared to the others, but I didn't expect anything to happen. You know, I wanted survival, that's all.
Kurt Cobain, the emblematic lead singer of Nirvana, also channeled a similar ethos. His music and life, drenched in raw, unapologetic authenticity, are reminiscent of Bukowski's unadorned truth-telling. Cobain's declaration, "I'd rather be hated for who I am than loved for who I am not," is a sentiment that seems to echo directly from Bukowski's own heart, a testament to living and creating art in one's unfiltered, genuine essence. Frida Kahlo, the iconic Mexican artist, in her deeply personal and brutally honest work, also mirrors Bukowski's principles. Her ability to transform personal pain and suffering into art parallels Bukowski's use of his own tumultuous life as a canvas for creativity. Kahlo's art, much like Bukowski's writing, serves as a poignant reminder of the power of authenticity in the creative process. Ernest Hemingway, known for his concise and powerful prose, strikes a similar chord. His adventurous life and straightforward writing style resonate with Bukowski's no-frills approach to storytelling. Hemingway's oft-quoted advice, "Write drunk, edit sober," though humorous on the surface, underscores a deeper philosophy of uninhibited creativity that aligns closely with Bukowski's. Janice Joplin, the legendary music icon, lived a life that epitomized the very essence of Bukowski's philosophy. Her raw vocal style and unchained, free-spirited existence reflect a congruence with Bukowski's approach to life and art. Joplin's powerful assertion, "Don't compromise yourself, you are all you've got," speaks volumes about the authenticity and self-reliance that both she and Bukowski valued so deeply. George Carlin, with his sharp, unfiltered commentary on society and life, embraced a path similar to Bukowski's. His fearless approach to comedy and critique, devoid of societal pretenses, and his preference for brutal honesty, mirror Bukowski's disdain for the superficial and his pursuit of truth, however stark or discomforting it may be. Lastly, Jack Kerouac, a central figure of the Beat generation, in his spontaneous prose and quest for genuine experiences, as exemplified in works like On the Road, resonates with the Bukowskian ethos. Kerouac's approach to writing and living authentically, without the constraints of forced effort, mirrors Bukowski's own journey of raw, unfiltered exploration through the medium of words. These individuals, each in their unique way, reflect the essence of Bukowski's philosophy, a testament to the enduring power and appeal of living and expressing oneself in an unapologetically authentic manner. Their lives and works stand as vivid examples of the beauty and resonance that come from embracing one's true self, unencumbered by societal expectations or conventional norms. Bukowski's words cut through the noise of a world preoccupied with superficialities, offering a raw, unvarnished look at what it means to live authentically. His philosophy isn't about reckless abandon. It's about finding that unquenchable fire within and letting it consume you. It's a celebration of the raw, the real, and the relentless pursuit of what truly matters. In a society often mired in the mundane, Bukowski's quotes are a reminder that the most vibrant life is one lived at the edge of intensity, driven by passion, and unapologetically true to oneself. If this narrative resonated with you, do support us. Hit that like button, drop a comment with your thoughts, and subscribe. Thank you for staying with us to the end. See you in the next video on Plaid Chronicles.